Hi everybody, I speak from Daejeon, Korea. I am Sung-Hae-sun, the director of Daejeon Museum of Art. It is our great honor to join Kepler's garden of this year's Ars Electronica Festival. Today, I would like to talk about artificial garden with three great Korean artists. Garden has a long history in Korea, including East Asia. Garden is a spatial time and space which coexist nature and human beings, society and human beings, and human beings and artificial intelligence in the near future. Please enjoy our talks with the great three artists, Shinseungback Kimyonghun, teamVOID, and YEOM Jihye. Please share our ideas and great artworks focused on AI.
Hello, my name is Kim Yong-hun. Today I'll be introducing some of our works in relation to the subject artificial vision. I work with Shinseungback as a team called Shinseungback Kimyonghun. Seungback studied computer science and I studied visual art. Through this engineer and artist collaboration, we've been exploring technology and humanity, its nature, relationship, and future. Among many important technologies, we've been focusing on computer vision, which is a subfield of AI and deals with how to make machines see. It can simply be understood as the eye of AI, the artificial vision. Here are some examples of computer vision applications. Face detection, which is already in your smartphone cameras. And it also recognizes emotions. It's used in self-driving cars, and it now diagnoses cancer. This picture compares human vision and computer vision. Human eyes gather the visual information of the tree, and the brain processes it. Then we know it's a tree. Computer vision works similarly. The camera collects the visual information like human eyes, and it has the processor which corresponds to the human brain. So it becomes the first visual technology that sees and understands the world by itself without human intervention. Computer vision is not as good as human vision yet, but machines have some advantages over humans. Human eyes only can see the small portion of the light spectrum, the visible light. But machines can perceive much wider spectrum, such as infrared rays, X-rays, radio waves, etc. Therefore, they can see things in a very dark environment, and it can even see things through walls. A typical human has only two eyes attached to its head. The machines can use much more visual sensors, webcams, CCTVs, and even satellite cameras. And it can use them all at the same time, remotely through network. The size of human brain is limited to the size of the skull, but a computer can be as big as a building, which means that it can process much more visual data, and its processing power is getting stronger and stronger. When it's connected with the numerous visual sensors around the world, it could have a global scale vision. This new eye will change not just how we see, but also how we think about seeing. Our practice explores this technology as a tool, and more importantly, as a subject. Cloud face is a collection of cloud images that have been recognized as faces by computer vision. We took photos of the clouds every 5 seconds and let the computer see if there's any faces. If it finds a face, it saves the image. These images are actually the result of the technology's error. But the interesting thing is that some of the images look like faces to human eyes too. To human eyes, though, is not an error. We know these are not actual faces. Rather, we imagine faces from the clouds. So here, the error of AI and the imagination of human meet. Let's say the black circle is the universe. Human vision can see some part of it, drawn as the blue circle. And computer vision can see some part of it, the red circle. They overlap in some part. Cloud face belongs to this overlapping area. It's an unusual visual activity, but we see the same thing anyway. Our works explore different areas of this diagram and discuss its implications. Cat Human is a similar work. These are human faces recognized as cat faces by a cat face detection algorithm. And these are cat faces recognized as human faces by a human face detection algorithm. Flower presents variously distorted flower images that have still been recognized as flower by AI. We start with a photo of a flower and distort it in many ways, and we collect the images that are recognized as flower by AI. And then the images are made as a moving image, one abstract flower morphing into another, as if it blossoms again. Some images look like flowers to human eyes and some are not. There is no right answer to what these abstract images actually are. But AI says it's a flower. What do you say? Captcha Tweet is a web application that posts tweets as captcha. Captcha is this kind of distorted text you meet when you try to sign up for a website. They make you type in what the characters are. It's a test to find out if you are human or not. If you can read this, you are regarded as a human. If not, you are a computer. Computers cannot read this because computer vision is not good enough just yet. So the test can be used to block harmful softwares. Based on the fact that the characters in the CAPTCHA form is not legible to computers, we used CAPTCHA as a secret communication tool between humans and applied it to social network communication, Twitter. What it does is very simple. It turns your tweets into CAPTCHA. Let me show you how it works. You go to the website captchatweet.com and log in with your Twitter account. Type in your message and click CAPTCHA. If you click tweet, it gets posted in your Twitter timeline. Only humans can read your tweets now. I also find the CAPTCHA itself very interesting conceptually. CAPTCHA is a symbol of humanity in a way, because it's something that can be solved by only humans. But as you can see the images here, CAPTCHA has been changing its shape because computers have become more and more intelligent to read the distorted text. If we distort the text more, humans cannot read it either. So now we needed to come up with another form of CAPTCHA to distinguish computers and humans. Of course, we have many things that we can do much better than computers now. But would it be so in the next decades? Would we have something that can be never mimicked by computers? Non-facial portrait explores the question further. We invited painters and asked them to make portrait paintings of a person based on a photograph. They had to follow one rule. The face of the portrait must not be detected by AI. While the portrait is being made, a camera equipped with 3 face detection algorithms watches the canvas, and the monitor informs the painter if any face is detected. The painter would refer to it and develop the painting. The face of the completed portrait should not be visible to any of the 3 algorithms. It's tricky. If you make the portrait close to the human subject, computer vision will easily detect the face. And if you distort the face too much, the painting would not be seen as a portrait of the person. One must find the small visual space that only humans can perceive. In the installation, each portrait is presented along with a video of the painter's painting process. The originality of humanity is often discussed in relation to AI today, since it's becoming able to mimic many of human abilities. So, what would be the human uniqueness that AI would never be able to mimic? The project was an experiment to examine the question. If painters successfully complete the task, the paintings would represent some kind of humanity. If they fail, it would show the delicate situation humans are facing. AI can hardly find faces in any of the paintings, but do we see the face of the subject in the paintings? Can we say the paintings are a portrait of the subject? It's up to you to decide if the painters successfully completed the task or not. In the near future, we might need to redraw the diagram like this. Computers have become to see most of what humans see, and more. Non-facial portrait deals with this area. It will be more and more difficult to find unique human abilities as technology develops further. It feels like a threat or crisis, but it also could be an opportunity for us to find new human value and understand ourselves better. You can see the rest of our works in the website. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is teamVOID and I'm gonna present our presentation called Create a System today. We are one of the artist group exhibiting in Biennale 2020 in Daejeon Museum of Art. So this presentation will introduce some of our works, including the pieces we installed in this Biennale. First of all, I'm gonna introduce our studio. teamVOID is a media art studio based on Seoul, Korea. And now the studio has 3 members, Jae-hyuk-bae, Junbong-song, and Bu-young-seok. The person who's speaking is Jae-hyuk-bae, one of the studio's founder in 2014. I'm center of the image. And since 2014, we did some artworks and commercial projects as well. Therefore, we have participated several media art festivals such as Sculpton, Electra, and Ars Electronica as well. In 2018, we presented one of our robotic arm installation named Over the Air in Ars Electronica at the Post City. It was super great time. So I'm gonna introduce the work later in this presentation. Our background is based on engineering, especially electrical and mechanical engineering. So we're naturally interested in technology itself. When we start our studio, our goal was merging technology and art together into our work. But the problem is it was hard to decide what is our topic of our works. So I remember at the time we had a long time to talk about what is a good start a topic for a studio, and after a long argument we decided that the system is a good start point of our studio. I know a system is quite broad idea, but we think that nowadays our life is hard to imagine without system. So we thought it can be a good start point for working with art and technology, and I still strongly agree with this idea, and it was good decision making for a studio. Now we have 3 different categories of our works. The first one is visualizing the system. At the beginning, we tried to make our own system, which has general system properties such as complexity, relationship, or perfection. The work named Light Wave is our very first piece in 2014. It is composed of many rotating LED units, and the single unit has very simple character, just rotating and dimming, depends on the degree of rotation. But because of a relationship between others, it can visualize many complex patterns such as wave in nature. So in this work, we wanted to talk about how system can be defined by relationship, and we think it is very general approach to define or analyze modern system. Wave frame is very recent work in 2019, last year. The work is also visualizing the systematic pattern, but this time we wanted to connect system and time together. All of system has their own life cycle, and sometimes they suffer cosmo and chaotic periods. But because of such periods, it can be more strong and complex. The most typical example is economic system. It has grew very fast last 50 years, but it also suffers inflation and deflation over and over again. We think all system has those kind of periods. Of course, the duration of that season is a little bit different, but while growing its complex and scale, it's really necessary periods for the system. So in this work, we wanted to put this kind of the idea to this work, and this is why the work presents the random pattern and the very geometric pattern again and again to give some more contrast between the two different periods. Yeah. Okay, second category of our work is robotic arm performance. We started using industrial robot in our work since 2016. The reason we choose the robot is it can represent modern manufacturing system. These days in the industrial field, robot becomes a main production tool instead of a human, because manufacturing processes changed a lot. Now the processes start from digital number, and the data is physicalized by automatic machine. It makes huge change to society. So we were very interested in this kind of changing, and decided to make some artworks starting from number or data, and makes a result with a physical form such as drawing and motion with a robot. The work named Over the Air, the piece we installed in Ars Electronica 2 years ago, is one of robotic arm drawing performance with data. The data we used is air quality. As you know, the air quality data becomes very critical number for quality of residency, especially in Eastern Asia. So the number becomes a very important daily data like weathercast. But huge different thing is air quality is decided by human activity, such as factory working and traffic numbers, like that. So I think drawing by robot is more effective than humans drawing to represent this meaning of data. This is another robot arm performance, but not finished work. It is kind of experiments in our studio. In this work, we wanted to make robot generate its motion automatically with machine learning. So this is almost first piece we used artificial intelligence into our work. The purpose of motion for the robot is expanding their area as wide as possible, competing together. So two robots try to taking up more space for each other. But interesting in this work is while machine learning, a person's character is represented by robot motion. As you can see from the video, left robot is a little bit slow and defensive, right? It is because the person who gives a data is more defensive person in our studio. But right robot, which learned from offensive person, he moves more fast. He moves much faster and more active than others to take up another's area. For us, it is very good start point to think about AI with a robot. So I'm sure one day we're gonna continue to finish this work. Okay, the last category of our work is visualizing a process. We think that all of system has their own process, including input and output. But recently, most of system becomes very complex, so it is hard to recognize the inside of it. The user only can see the out shell of system. Because of the reason, we sometimes disregard the principle of how the system works and how it affects to our lives. The work named Hammering is one of the piece with this idea. We tried to reveal inside of a system, giving contrast between output and process. As you can see, the work has very simple input and output. The input is rotating handle by interactor, and the output is hammering on the nail. But the process is accelerated by virtual machine with lots of gears. So you can see the simple input and output, but very complex or exaggerated the process in this work. And another piece with the same idea, but the much bigger and complex version, called the circle making machine in 2018. This is very same idea with the previous one, but the input is same, but the output is circle making with a small machine in front of interactor. So as you can see from the video, if interactor rotate the handle in the work, the whole of the system activates all together. So there are some physical machines connecting with lots of gears and pulley, and there's a larger virtual machine with other the mechanical parts. And the result is super simple. It's a drawing on the small paper with a pen, the circle. So this is why we called it the circle making machine. Okay, now I'm gonna introduce two of the works which are exhibited in Daejeon Museum of Art. First one is making art. It is quite similar with over the air, but this time it uses stock market data. So the idea is similar, but it is more about how different systems affect to others and how they live together in the same age. So in this work, we use an art and economic. Two of the system, art system and economic system, looks very far from each other, but we think every system of same age linked intimately. So we thought, how about the artwork came from economic system? The number can be start point of a physical result as a drawing. And in this sense, making art is not directly related with artificial intelligence, of course, but we think AI is also came from the data and number. This is the starting point, right? After then, the machine can make some of a result in the physical form or the systemic output, right? So in this work, those kind of a process absorbed in this system, I think. Okay, second piece is a super smart machine. It is just finished work, so the video is captured from our studio. It's not that clean, and sorry about it. The work is on one of category called visualizing a process, same with hammering, and we used many high technologies, including AI, IoT, and industrial robot. All of objects are connected like Goldberg machine, and the goal of the system is turning on the light. In this work, we want to give some questions about the technology in our life. Do we really understand about it? Do you know how it works? Do we really need it in my life? Those kind of things. I think these are very important questions for our studio right now. So I think we're gonna develop this work more and more later. So yeah, this is our work, which are installed in Daejeon Museum of Art for the Biennale 2020. Okay, this is the end of our presentation, and if you have a question, please leave some message or text, and if I have a chance, I'm gonna give some answer. Okay, thank you.
Hello, this is Jihye from Seoul. I'm very glad to introduce my work here today. My interest is to find an invisible force that shapes the world. Instead of recognizing a set of circumstances that we are facing as an individual event, I try to find the force operating on the other side. In other words, rather than merely looking at the surface, I imagine something which originated the happenings in the present and attempt to see it in multi-faced aspects. So I'm trying to find why things happened and how things affect us throughout looking closely into those issues. I mainly deal with the moving image and continue to work by weaving between personal narratives and ground narratives inside the moving images in visual media. From now on, I will show some video works I've done so far. First work that I want to show you is the title AI Octopus, which is my recent work. It is about the issue of AI, evolution, and aversion. It seems pretty random to put all together, but I reckon that they are closely linked to each other, and especially those originated from human-centric thinking. So I presume in this work, if we learn the wisdom of the octopuses that feel others better, we might have an opportunity to look through many problems caused by human, Asian, brain, self-continental center thinking. So finally, let's see the work. It is 17 minutes long, but I will show you the edited version.
Artificial intelligence 형태의 지능 인지, 지능, 지식, 감각, 연결 감정, 느낌, 마음, 의식, 연결, 신경, 진화, 경험, 존재, 연결, 현재, 미래, 정신, 기억, 연결 모든 건 연결되어 있어. 너는 나와 너무 닮았네. 우리는 너무 닮았네. 우리는 너무 연약해. 무딘 이빨, 말랑한 살, 약한 턱, 작은 체격, 느린 다리, 큰 얼굴, 거대한 머리, 머리에 단단한 껍질을 잃는 순간 온갖 위험으로부터 생존하기 위해 나는 지능과 감각을 키웠어. 긴 진화의 압력은 이렇게 만들었지. 우리는 함께 진화의 터널을 지나가고 있어. 나는 혼자가 편한데 혼자 있는 게 좋아. 깊숙이 다가가고 싶지만 혼자 있고 싶어. 혼자 있으면 너의 손을 잡을 수 없는 거야? 떨어져서는 함께 할 수 없는 거야? 멀리서는 연대할 수 없는 거야?
The second work is They Come Swiftly, Steadily. It was based on my personal experience that I got malaria in Ghana, West Africa in 2009, and MERS, that was the nationwide outbreak in 2015. And this work investigated how virus is merely perceived as a harmful, invisible, and intangible thing despite of the fact that the virus is actually important for our lives and the process of evolution. So throughout the work, I wanted to know what virus is, how it works, and how the rumors are spread by the media. So I will show the part of the work.
Look here. I came. The planet is mine. It's mine. I rule. I rule over you. The time you stared at me.
So much rain, so much heat, so much sweat, so many mosquitoes around. I got terribly bitten. Terribly bitten by them. My body was swollen up. My brain melted down. Oh my god, I knew what it was. I feel someone stormed or something trembled on my body. It was not simply muscle pain, but more like bone squeezed pain. But strangely enough, I believed that I could get over this disease, and I did.
Now the right time. Here, the best space.
The last work to show is Future Fever, created in 2018. When Donald Trump was elected in US, I was shocked, as many people did. I tried to know why Trump was elected and why the world is occupied by far-right wing. So I had looked up the history in the late 19th century to the early 20th century, when fascism rose and the World War happened. Especially, I was interested in Italian futurists that rejected all existing ideas and tried to become more aggressive entering the future. Eventually, futurism worked with fascism. As history repeats itself, I reckon we all somehow try to predominate the future with high tech, and we all seems to be captured by contemporary epidemic, so-called future fever. I will show this work in 2020 Daejeon Biennale, so you might have a chance to glimpse the part of the show, even if you cannot come to see. Let's see the work.
One day, I had a dream while I was taking a long nap. I fell asleep in my own dream. Basically, I dreamt a dream within a dream. Then I could hear the first phase of novel in my dream. It kept ringing in my ears. Gregor woke up one morning from unsettling dreams. He found himself chained in his bed into a monstrous vermin. When Gregor woke up one morning from unsettling dreams, he found himself changed in his bed into monstrous vermin. When I woke up from the dream within a dream, my body, I felt very cold. My body turned into a machine. Wow, I became really cool, I thought. When I came back to reality from my series of dreams, it was like returning back to Earth after a long journey from Mars. Just as I felt the gravity weighing me down 3 times heavier.
Poetry must be conceived as a violent attack on unknown forces to reduce and prostrate them before man. We stand on the last promontory of the centuries. Why should we look back? We stand on the last promontory of the centuries. Why should we look back?
1918.
When what we want is to break down the mysterious doors of the impossible. Time and space died yesterday. We already live in the absolute, because we have created eternal, omnipresent speed.
1939.
Non sono pochi oggi nel mondo che affrontano i problemi della ricostruzione europea dal nostro... Sono passati 9 anni da quando l'Italia fascista a Londra pose il problema delle riparazioni dei debiti, dei termini che oggi sono all'ordine del giorno. E come si può parlare di ricostruzione europea?
1940.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, like fate, wrapped up with romantic words, walking like a sleepwalker to the future scenario, following the stars to find a lost way.
Through exploration of new connecting links, created in the point where the past and the present, experiences and memories, a legend and a narrative blend, and blur the boundaries. I propose an alternative perspectives on the world and try to find new method of speech. Thanks for taking your time with me. I hope to see you all and show you the work in person one day.
How was your time at Artificial Garden? Shinseungback Kimyonghun shows clouds, flowers, and human beings at our artificial garden. TeamVOID enhance our artificial garden with the data and robots. YEOM Jihye ask the crucial questions. What is true of our fever of the future? Our artificial garden is a part of our Daejeon Biennale. 2020 Daejeon Biennale Artificial Intelligence Sunshine Mrs. Window invites everybody. Please join our Biennale both online and offline. Again, I would love to express our great appreciation to Kepler's Garden and Ars Electronica. Thank you.